Everyone. Welcome to another PineScript programming hour. I'm your boss, Joe Boss, and new face cam, new mic, improved setup. Hope you guys enjoy it. I meant to do at least 2 trading streams this week, and I just had a bunch of errands come up last minute. Things that maybe have to stay up way late into the night, made it impossible to get up early on time. And then some things that happen right when I need to go live, or like 30 minutes or just an hour after I go live, and I'm like, well, that's, going live, it'd be kind of cutting it real close. I'd rather spend that time getting ready to go. So, we had way less streams. Also, that was somewhat planned. Some of the streams for earlier this week were just not scheduled at all. There was not much going on that was planned. So now in the next trading stream, there'll be a title saying, hey, face cam, microphone, right? So all you guys here who are watching the programming hour stream are going to be getting a bit of a heads up that I got a face cam all set up. And we're going to be kind of trialing and practicing with seeing how this looks. So let me go ahead and close that. I'll go ahead and transition back and get everything set up. Let's turn the music back on. Okay. Now let me just find my trading view windows here. See where we last left off, or where I last left off, because I've been doing some extra programming today. Let's see. Concepts. Do. Okay. Almost got everything set up here. Okay. I see what I was last working on. I was doing an update to my PineScript library. Let me go ahead, get everything set up, zoomed in here, so you guys can see clearly. Bum. Almost got everything peachy. Okay. We are all set. Okay. So I believe, if I recall correctly, I was working on new size functions in the library. So yeah, size const, size numeric. So originally I had, let me go ahead and turn down the music. I know, I had a mixer set up for the music. Actually, it shows right here. I have my Chrome music mixer. I wonder why that's not exactly working. Let's go ahead, go to monitor, Chrome music. Okay. Whoa, that was loud. Here, let me mute the desktop audio and see what's going on here with the Chrome music. Okay. Yeah, see, now everything is properly limited. I'm like, I thought I put in a bunch of work to get this set up the other day. So now the music should, when it's quiet, equalize, right? I set up the compressor correctly. Yeah, sorry about setting the music really loud that one time there. For everyone watching. Well, more or less watching the recording. We'll go ahead and keep this stream short and sweet to the point. So, in a prior version of this library, and now it's a little too loud on my end, so I'm going to turn it down even a bit more. So here I have now 2 functions and then 2 methods for each of these functions. So size const, it takes a string here, returns a built-in size constant, which is a constant string type, and then same thing over here, except this one takes an enum, which makes creating inputs way easier, right? I mean, you can still technically use the enum that's in this library. You just have to wrap it in a string to string if you want this format. Okay. And now this is the interesting part. I was going through the documentation, and I've known about this for a while, but when I was first writing the size functions, I didn't really bother to do it. But I like to be a completionist when it comes down to writing my libraries and allowing users to customize the indicator to the fullest extent that TradingView's PineScript allows the users to. So recently, TradingView, not recently, actually a while ago, TradingView allowed users to, instead of using these size constants, instead of using these sizing constants and then having some kind of toggle or switch to select between these different size constants, you can actually use specific numerical values. And these are the numerical values that are used. But we have 2 of these size numeric functions. We have this one here, which has this extra if-else in there, because it turns out that there are 2 different sets of numeric sizes for labels and boxes, and then another set of numeric sizes for labels. For boxes and tables, rather. Boxes and tables use this size here. Is that correct? I mean, it's very easy to find out. I think right here, yeah. Constants and their equivalents for numeric sizes. Yeah, if we go here and we do label.new. Actually, if we do size and then label size, let's see here. So that's table. Okay, and that's 36. That's 36, right? So I'm reading right here. So these are the numeric sizes for this and this. And then set size for the label. Yeah, see, so this one says 24 for the label. And then these 2 say 36 for the huge size. So this actually needs to get flipped around, you know? Because this is saying if label is true. So we actually have to flip this code around here. This is the last thing I worked on yesterday. I'm like, I'm just going to make sure I get this in. I'm also trying to make sure I still properly document everything here in the function and give a usage example here. I really like how my functions have this extra usage example. Is, you know, it's just nice to be able to copy and paste some boilerplate code. Like, okay, I'm going to make an input, and generally speaking, like, what's the jig here? Like, what do I do? Now, this style size enum.custom, that's the thing that actually allows you to use this custom size here. So generally speaking, these numeric values, these are roughly in line with these here, right? So roughly size auto is 0, size tiny is about 7. So this is for the label. Size small is roughly 10. And we can actually, when I was looking at this and I saw this in the document, like roughly 10, roughly 7. What does that mean? Well, that's why I had this little test over here. So here's numeric size. So if we go ahead and, let's say, use size tiny for one of these labels, and if I go to the correct drawing here. Oh, also, I've done some more updates and upgrades to the DMA. This is, there's no other DMA indicator on TradingView like this. Again, this is technically another moving average indicator, but this is a very, very good exercise for me just to be like, okay, here's all the styling options. Let's do a particular styling. Also, I do like the way that this indicator shows like, hey, it's repainting right now. The latest value of the moving average is currently repainting. Maybe take another thought before you commit to trading this, right? So this is more of an exercise riding this indicator. I mean, I have been using this generally as like a nice little, okay, it's a nice little trend indicator. But this has been a very, very good exercise for me in applying my style library to an indicator and also just exercising the style guide of how I want to write things. I know like a week ago I said I'd get this thing released and I just keep building and building and making it materially better, and my approach materially improves. Now, I will say, notice how I let these lines go long on the horizontal. We're going to do a few command prompt things. So I hit, oh, hold on. That's right, I have a hotkey thing. Oh man, what was it called? Oh man. Keyvis. I was like so certain that I had this thing set up. There we go. Okay, so now you can actually see the controls. Also, for some reason, it's not going away. This is what I get for not like triple checking my stuff. Oh, it went away then. Whoa. For some reason, it's only staying here, so I guess you guys get to see me change the settings. I'm looking for what's called the fade. Yeah, the duration. 4 seconds. There we go. Also, let's put it in the middle. There we go. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. So what I want to do, just to reiterate, I have these very, very long lines that go way, way the hell out, right? And look at all these inputs. You can see all these inputs kind of go past this vertical line right here. This vertical line is the guideline. It's 120 characters out of the editor. So once you type 120 characters out, it's like, hey, maybe you should consider doing a hard line wrap, which is like this, which is indented with 2 spaces. Or I say, hey, if you're writing a library, try and wrap your lines around that 120. Like, this isn't a hard and fast style guide rule, because there are things like these links here that you cannot line wrap. So it's line wrap when you can. However, I'm more going on to the line of, hey, go ahead, go into the command prompt, Control-Shift-P, and type in the word wrap. Then there you go, toggle word wrap, and boom. All that stuff that was way off the screen is no longer off the screen. You can now actually see it all. And it also shows little blank spots where the line wraps are occurring. So if you need to get access to a really long tooltip and write in it, sure, go ahead. And man, it's just so much nicer. Also, because I just reopened TradingView, whenever you do have hard line wraps anywhere in your script, TradingView will automatically force your script to re-indent with 2 spaces. So every time I hit tab here, it's indenting with just 2 spaces. That's not good, because TradingView, whenever you're working inside the local scope of a function or an if or for statement, you need 4 spaces. But every single time you reopen the editor, it automatically resets to 2 whenever you do those hard line wraps. Which makes me want to emphasize not doing hard line wraps, because now there's this extra step. I now have to go into the command prompt, type in tab, change tab display size, and see how it's automatically set the current tab size to 2. Default tab size is 4. I now have to manually do this, and now you see how all these extra lines here go away. And then if I do a new tab, now we have 4 spaces when I hit tab. That's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. So as much as I would like to do stuff like this in the future, I'm not doing, what I call hard line wraps, which is pressing enter and then indenting 2 spaces. I would just say do the word wrap, toggle word wrap in the command prompt. Toggle word wrap in the command prompt. Because not only will it wrap up to that 120 character line, look at this. It's wrapping to the width of the editor's view of the code. So it doesn't matter if you have a big screen or a small screen, want tiny font or big font. This will keep the code in your vision. However, this does break if you program like some other PineScripters do, and they put multiple tabs or like 20 spaces in between each and every single one of these arguments here. We can bring up an example of that code sometime. Not necessarily in this stream. After this rant, I want to get to working on this library, because I actually have to update this library before I can use it here in this double moving average indicator. And once it's in the double moving average indicator, I can then finally release this thing, because there's really not much else I want to do other than get this numeric sizing in. So this whole rant started just when I was just trying to say, hey, we have 2 labels here. Go ahead and set, I don't know, I think the labels are set to the same size. Let's see here. Label lower left. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So this one here on top is this label. So this is, I believe, the numeric label. So if I set that one to 10, yeah. So this is the numeric label, and this is the label here, this tiny, tiny label. This is the one that is using this label size feature. So if I do label size small, and then we go and look at our style library code, then we go down to size. This says, hey, size small is roughly 10 here on the numeric size. And you can clearly see that's not the case. It's more like 9. I mean, 9 is too small, 10 is too big. You need like a 9.5. But this only takes ints. So, oh wow, look at that. A 95 numeric size label. Whoa. See, that's one of the cool things about having numeric sizing, is you can make these labels insanely huge if you want, or really, really, smaller than tiny. You can set this label to 5, and it's kind of impossible to read, but it's there if you wanted to set it that way. So yeah, I think 10 is what's going to end up working out. Now, there's a bit of a hiccup. If you decide to use, you can only decide to use one of these two types of sizing functions. You can either size with these constants because it returns a string, or you can size with size numeric. So it's not, see, if you're trying to make an if statement or a ternary statement and you want it to return a string or an int in a single variable, which is kind of what we need to do in order for this to work, because the labels, the label and the box and the table text size and label size functions, those are now methods. So it will switch to a different method based on, oh, is this an int or a string that I'm passing in for my size parameter? Well, we kind of need to do the same thing for this size numeric and size const. We need something that will return effectively either a string or an int, and that's kind of an issue in PineScript at the moment. This kind of is. So the way I'm thinking about doing this right now is with a switch statement. Well, a switch statement wouldn't work, would it? That's the problem. Your ifs and your switch statements, if you return one type of variable like a string in one case of the if statement, and then an int in another case of the if or the switch statement, the tree, the switch or the if, it's just not going to work. You have to be returning the same type. So for now, to keep things simple, the way I'm going to go forward with this is by using the numeric size functions for sizing, and then use these recommended built-ins corresponding to the tiny, the small, the normal, like so. The downside of this is that some of these labels aren't going to look exactly the same as the the label sizes in other indicators, because these sizes are different than these numeric sizes. Now, it is nitpicky, right? Is it the end of the world? Absolutely. Will people even notice it? Honestly, most people will not notice this like tiny little size difference. Most people would not care. But they would be appreciative of, okay, now I have this new custom option, and I can make huge labels, or, you know, labels so small I can hardly see them. So I think going with the feature that allows more functionality is better. And also for other people who are using the style library, if anyone else eventually uses it, I went ahead and I created a custom type, size numeric type, that goes in this library. Guess what you can do with it? You can go ahead and set your own defaults for these sizes. Or you can create little inputs to then go into the type, so then users can define how tiny the tiny sizes, how small the small sizes, how normal sized the normal is. And you can even allow them to change auto, but you know, that should just stay 0, right? You can go ahead and just hard code that as 0 and not worry about that. Okay. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, this isn't totally done. I have to, at returns, you know, I have to change keyviz, because I only want it to show when I'm doing, like, let's see here, layout, alignment, fade. Oh, visualize clicks. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that is kind of cool. Keep highlight. Oh, that is kind of cool. Oh, we don't really need that. Show history. Oh, so Shift F10. Okay, so Shift F10 actually toggles the whole shebang. I think I just turned it off. Yeah, there we go. And for some reason, the shift is sticking there. So, evis. Hit run. Looks like we got a process that's kind of stuck. We got a process that's a bit stuck. Yeah, we have 2 key vises here. There we go. And we have the camera back. Yep, the camera is back. Oh, check that out. We now have this little click thing. There we are. Okay. So now what we want to do, Control F and do size numeric. So that's the custom type, and you can actually see if I also wrap, you can see here in the custom type text, or even in the, oh, that's actually 1 extra space there. You can actually see in the highlight, the tooltips of all the fields, exactly, oh, use 7 for labels, 8 for boxes, default is 8, default is 10, 14, right? So it shows you what the default values for the type is when you make a new type, and gives you, just straight up tells you, hey, here are the values you should use for labels and for boxes and tables. And I find this type of documentation is what can go above and beyond for more libraries to make them more useful. A lot of libraries just make using built-in stuff in TradingView easier to use, so you're not rewriting the same code over and over and over again, which is the entire point of why libraries were created and developed as a feature. So I'm just very, very glad that we have libraries, and I'm very happy to be working on my own. So let's go here. Size numeric. All right. So we already have this here. Let's go ahead and copy that and put that down here. Now, what I said for libraries is I do like them to be hard wrapped, right? So all this stuff, all these function params, app params, all this stuff, I hard wrap this. But for indicators like this, I don't bother hard wrapping, right? Look how long these tooltips are, right? They go all the way out to there. It just wrap it for an indicator. For a library, not necessarily, right? This is the workspace of me working in an indicator I've developed. This is a library, and there's going to be multiple different types of developers probably checking out the library, so I more strictly adhere to the PineScript style guide here, and I do hard line wraps here. I just realized that the stream hasn't been live this whole time. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm just going to cut and upload what I've got so far, because I think that's pretty good. And then I'm going to work on this for the rest of the day on my own time. I'll try it. You know, it's been a week since I've been streaming, so I'm sorry I kind of screwed up the stream today a bit, but I had a few computer crashes. I've had life stuff going on, so I've had, I think, pretty valid excuses. But next week we're going to be getting on top of the normal schedule. So if you want, make sure you go ahead and check out the stream schedule for the week ahead on the Plan the Profit YouTube channel. That's when you'll be able to see when I'm live. And if you do need notifications, you can always hop in the Discord. Again, if you're watching this far into the video, you're probably already in the Discord. Alright, you guys. I'll go ahead and get stuff ready, and I'll see you in a bit.